is Thomas Bohn, and I made this video to share with you my story and why I believe God is leading me to spend 6 months in a missionary apprentice program with Youth with a Mission. Let me first start by saying thank you to all of you who have prayed for me during these last 4 difficult years of my life. I believe that it was your prayers that preserved my life and brought me to where I am now. Maybe you don't know me, but you're looking at this video and saying, why does this guy want to go around the world and help others? If you give me just a few moments of your time, I'd like to share with you my story with you. Everyone has a story. As a baby and young child, I had to overcome some serious problems. I was born with club feet and suffered with learning difficulties for many years. Things became so severe that by my first grade school year, I was telling people that I hated myself and I wanted to die. I felt terrible and confused, and as a kid, I had difficulty making friends. By the time I was 14, I was angry with God and myself. I didn't want anything to do with the church, and I spent all my time online gaming and caught up in a lot of terrible things. But all of my previous problems seemed like a walk in the park compared to what I faced on January the 21st of 2011. That day, I was told that the sickness that I had been battling for what seemed like months was actually blood cancer, or leukemia. The doctors explained that they would be treating me with radiation and chemotherapy for the next 3.5 years. I thought that the worst thing I would experience would be losing hair. But the treatment for leukemia involves destroying your immune system. Very quickly, I developed strong reactions to the chemotherapy drugs that they gave to me, and as a result, I catched a serious infection in my colon known as C. diff, and within just a few days, I was unconscious and on a ventilator, had emergency surgery to remove most of my colon, and was battling for life. I spent 52 days in ICU and almost died on numerous occasions. In addition, my motor nerves in my calves and feet had died off. I was even told by one doctor that I would never walk again. When my parents finally brought me home from the hospital a few months after I was diagnosed with cancer, I weighed 96 pounds when I was 6 foot tall. I was completely bedridden, got my nourishment from a feeding tube, and had an open hole in my stomach where my colon used to be refused to heal. I also had a ostomy bag that collected all the feces that I was forced to wear for the next 3.5 years. Even though this happened, I knew that God had spared my life at that point, but I just couldn't see why. The next few years were spent in and out the hospital. The first year, I think I spent over 10 months hospitalized and had 12 surgeries and countless procedures. I also contracted many life-threatening infections that destroyed my physical abilities. I struggled with depression and had given up hope. During this time, many Christians came to encourage and pray for me. I began to finally realize that not only did God spare my life miraculously, but I also had a purpose. I gradually came to understand God's love for me. Through years of rehabilitation and follow-up treatment, I knew that God had given me an amazing story of victory. God hadn't just preserved me from death, He had also changed my heart. I committed my heart to Jesus, and found that the anger and bitterness were all gone. Before I came down with cancer, I really didn't think much about other people. Through suffering, God had developed in me a compassion for others. I began to encourage and pray for other people who were suffering physically or emotionally like I had. I realized that my story could be a great encouragement to others of God's love. Last May, I finished the last of my chemotherapy treatment, and soon after that, I had a surgery to reattach what was left of my colon. More recently, I had some plastic surgery on my eye that was damaged during my treatment. That's why I look a little strange right now. I still walk with braces, but the strength and movement in my legs has gradually returned. Despite my obstacles, I will graduate from high school in May. Praise God. My teenage years have been hard to say the least because of this. I want to do something different than go straight to college. Instead, I would like to take some time to encourage and serve others. I will take the next year giving back to others and demonstrating God's love. I want to share with others my story of healing and God's goodness. I would greatly appreciate it if you would be willing to partner with me to accomplish this. The missionary program that I will be working with is Youth with a Mission. It is a non-denominational missionary organization that has been around since the 1960s. It currently has over 18,000 people serving in over 180 countries worldwide. On my You Caring page, you can read more about the specific details of the 6 months program that will take me from the wildernesses of the Australian outback to serving the poor in Southeast Asia. This is an amazing opportunity for me. Would you be willing to help me get there? Please consider becoming a prayer partner for my finances, good health, and that God would use me as I share my testimony and His love to others. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I pray all the blessings of God's amazing